Hey guys, Kieran here at OnlyFangs, and today we're testing out the Stark Varg 80 horsepower. Stay tuned for everything you need to know about the Stark Varg.
Yeah, boy.
Alright guys, we're back from our first test of the Stark Varg. First impressions, the bike's actually pretty impressive. Let's talk about the suspension. The suspension from stock's probably not really set up for the way I ride and what I do, but with a few tweaks it'd be pretty unbelievable. The bike handles well overall. The stability out of the corners is probably the biggest wow out of the whole bike. You can get on the gas earlier, you can corner harder, and the bike just seems to hold traction all the way through every corner you hit. For the setup in the single trails, we set this thing at 30 horsepower to begin with. We found 35 as probably a more realistic ballpark of where you want to be for single trails. Gives you a nice delivery, the overall speed's pretty good, and the bike just tractors through everything you're hitting. A couple of things I'd change about the bike. Obviously some new tyres would probably help. The Geomax 53s are pretty average out here in this ground condition, but overall the bike handled really well. The brakes on the bike are pretty impressive. You can get good feel through the front and rear. This obviously only has the foot brake, not the handbrake, but set at 35 horsepower through the singles, the bike is absolutely controllable. We tried to go a little bit more, very manageable, but overall the 35 is really where you want it to be to keep a nice consistent flow through everything you were hitting. Another thing I'd change about this bike, I'd probably trim the bars down a little bit as I do on all my own bikes. Being 5'6" and 70 kilos, I like my grip to be in a little bit more just so I can maintain an attack position. The controls on the bike, you just open the phone up, select your horsepower, select your engine braking. You got 5 modes you can select. You can set all modes and save them all, so as you're riding along you can actually change the modes on the fly. Makes a pretty easy time riding the bike. We had the engine braking set at 80%. Pretty much through every map. I found that reasonably good just so I could enter the corner a little bit harder and rely on the bike a little bit. Not having a clutch was a little bit different. Some of the cons about the bike, not having a clutch would be the first thing that I sort of noticed coming into corners and trying to log cross. Trying to log cross on this thing was a little bit different to what I'm used to, being able to just blip the clutch and get the front wheel up and over the log. Where on this you sort of need to time it a bit more, hit the gas and try and get as much traction through the rear wheel as you can to get that front to lift. Alright guys, we did test this thing at 80 horsepower as well, on the fire trail and on the single trail. Let's talk about the single trail first. surprisingly manageable. Even though it's putting down so much power, you can still corner well, you still do everything you need to do in there. I just wouldn't think you'd put down a faster lap at 80 than you would at 35. On the fire trails, if you're looking just to have a bit of fun, put it to 80 horsepower, wrap the throttle. The bike's spitting, it's trying to lift and stuff, but it's all controlled. The bike's unbelievable, handles well. Overall, I rate it. Big shout out to Buzzers Bikes and Bits for lending us this bike for the day to do a test on. Stay tuned for more average videos from an average rider. It's reverse beep, you know?